afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know. Hi.
Oh, hello everyone. We are
Aloha.
live in the ranch.
We've been discussing wrestling for the past 7 minutes. So
Been watching some.
We're watching Phil and
Cameron had a.
The
scrum
spider
rumble
monkey and the marine.
It was entertaining.
Yeah, Cam was surprisingly tough, and Phil was surprisingly
I
tough.
think Cam is tough. I think Phil was much more reserved than Phil would normally be.
I will say,
it was tough. Like both of them. I mean, it's trying to keep from laughing the whole time. I think was their hardest.
This is the second time I've watched them decide they're gonna wrestle, and last time I gave Phil because Phil totally like sweeped Cameron's leg, and Cameron hit the floor hard. But Cameron was definitely ready for it this time.
Yeah.
Because Cameron was like, "Oh no, you're not getting my legs."
I didn't see the match. I walked in when it was over, and Cam's standing there smiling, like it was
giggling.
Yeah, and Phil's over there like wiping sweat off of his arms, and he's got
He had to get at least
scrap on his nose, and he's breathing hard. And I went.
He was going to get his fried open.
It may be the power of the mustache, though.
Oh.
That may have been the accentuating part for Cam is the power of that mustache. All 12 hairs.
Literally, he's got the 12-year-old junior high mustache going, doesn't he?
Gracious.
Yeah, about 12. Yeah, because I got a 14-year-old. My 14-year-old nephew is got a pretty good mustache going. So
I don't know why Phil's leaving. It makes me nervous.
It
He
definitely
was
makes me
smiling, and
nervous.
that always makes me nervous.
Oh, well.
yeah, after looking at his phone, so he may have some sort of.
Is there
something,
snacks?
So.
Did your wife bring us
like-
milkshakes? His wife makes really good cookies. Cindy, if you're watching,
Whose radio is that? That's
Phil's radio. Cindy
So
makes
anyway.
really good cookies.
Welcome to the range. It is Wednesday. What is it? May 29th, 2019. There's been a lot of stuff going on. We're going to talk about that today.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on in our
This
area.
little cool guy though. It's just a stock and a knife. So we got some fun stuff to talk about. Exciting stuff going on though. We have the IDPA match that we just did. We have the Spartan 300 match coming up this weekend. We got 6 of our guys that'll be over there shooting that over in Sparta.
And then me babysitting all 6 of them.
Yeah, Sam will be over there shooting some pictures and all that good stuff. Ought to be lots of fun. We have at least one team in that. Trying to figure out if we're supposed to have 2 teams. We'll see how that.
Did you say teen or team?
Team, T-E-A-M.
We only have one teen. It's Cameron.
He just looks like a teen.
So does Dustin. That's
He's
like
actually not.
If we're following that rule,
close.
if we're following that rule, Dustin would also be a teen because they're about the same.
Yeah.
If we're following age, I am technically the baby.
Yeah. But so we got Spartan 300 this week. We got Saturday. Got a big day here too. We've got basic handgun, anti-carjacking, and hand-to-hand. All going on Saturday. So it'll be an exciting day of training on.
Do we have
on Saturday
is
here?
basic handgun full?
There's one spot left.
Got one spot left in basic handgun, and we do have some spots left in anti-carjacking.
Yep.
And basic
Hand-to-hand.
hand-to-hand.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you that hand-to-hand class, everybody should take that. Dennis does a great job with it.
Yeah, I tell you, we should maybe send Phil and Cam back through that. Let them partner up and beat each other a little bit more.
I like it.
We can let them beat each other up so bad that Rob can use them as examples for teaching trauma class.
See, now she's thinking that whole wrapping it all the way around. You got that full circle
Everything
thing.
works together.
Yeah.
Circle of violence.
Yeah, and then next Thursday, we'll have our IDPA match.
Which means it goes live Saturday
It'll go
morning.
live Saturday morning, 9 a.m. So be on there, and as you know, sign up quick. 9 a.m. by 9:30, there may not be spots left. So
Good point.
jump in there quick. So let's get into the news. We got all
Everything's
kinds of stuff.
flooded.
Yeah, Missouri is
Or it's in
full
the
of
air.
water,
Plenty of
or whether it be whirlwind twirlies or not. So Jeff City got hit, a couple of 3-4 days ago?
They got hit last Friday.
Last Friday. So they
Last
got
Thursday
hit.
night, I guess, 'cause it was Friday morning.
Yeah, and the National Weather Services, it went like 32 miles.
That is insane.
Like, holy cow. So that one took 3 lives, unfortunately. There was Kenneth and Opal Harris, that were a middle-aged married couple in their 80s. They found them 200 yards from their home. I know originally we had heard 100 feet, but no,
Yeah,
then it turns out it
hurts.
was 200 yards from their house.
That's just crazy.
And then a 56-year-old Betty Berg was in a mobile home, and her mobile home was destroyed, and she was still inside of it. So
Never trust a mobile home.
unfortunate there, and although only 3,
Still 3.
yeah, still 3, and still a massive amount of cleanup that they have to do. I mean, it was Thursday because
I thought it was
one of the guys on my
Thursday
volleyball
evening.
team plays for or works for Ameren, and he was called down. So there's massive.
See, I knew about
people
crews going
down
up.
there
I thought it was
now.
Friday. I thought it was Friday morning. Maybe it was. I thought it hit Thursday night. I don't know. Either way,
Yeah,
Thursday-ish.
it was last week.
Yeah, it was end of last week.
It's a lot to remember, like a week.
It was.
Well, but just
I remember
in
it had
that week's
fun.
time span, there's just been so much. Kansas City, Jeff
Yeah.
City,
Oklahoma.
Kansas City got hit,
Oklahoma,
Oklahoma got hit,
Ohio got
got hit.
hammered.
Say my mom's entire family lives in Oklahoma, and I mean, everything is
I mean,
underwater.
are they? I mean, the whole state is a disaster
Yeah.
area right now.
Yeah,
Every county.
they are releasing more water from the lock-in dam than is
Oh,
getting
they're do-
released at like Niagara Falls right now.
Yeah,
More water
They're
per.
doing a lot of controlled releases
Oh, it's a mess.
downstate too, into some farms and stuff to try to control it and keep it from breaching.
I mean,
So-
they've got a submarine down there that was like literally floating. They had multiple barges break loose that slammed into their lock-in dam, which they thought was going to
Oh,
blow
that's
out
not
their
good.
dam, which they
Yeah.
got lucky it didn't. 2 of them, full of fertilizer, sunk to the bottom. Luckily, after they hit the dam and didn't do any damage, but it's bad, and they're still getting more rain.
Yeah.
And then they got hit.
Like we've been getting tons and tons
Yeah.
of rain this year.
If it would stop raining,
Yeah, and
my dog's so muddy.
Were you guys around in '93? You were around
Yep.
in '93. Were you around in '93?
I was born in '95.
Yeah, dang. Wow. Well,
I
you remember '93? How bad
do.
'93
I do.
was?
So I know that
we
in-
did the things that you weren't supposed to be doing, like driving up and down through the floodwaters.
Yeah, don't do
So
that.
I know that in Pacific, when it flooded the last 2 times for Pacific, it was worse than '93. So I have like some type of mental grasp on that. As far as that was my first time I saw 44 go underwater.
Yeah.
It's been crazy.
And I mean, all of Franklin County was an island.
I mean, we've
but-
been getting precipitation all year long. All of 2019 has just been wet. From
Yeah.
the snow, we've had massive amounts of snow this year. Lots and lots of rain. It just doesn't seem to be stopping whatsoever. So
I mean, right now, Washington, Missouri, it's like up over, if you know Washington, it's up over their railroad tracks,
Yeah.
headed on like their first
So,
street.
talk about some weird stuff. So, this is all from the National Weather Service. So, flooding in at least 8 states is going on right now, and it is a record-breaking spring snowfall or rainfall. And this is the longest-lasting flood since the Great Flood of 1927.
Oh, my.
Blows away 93. The heights of the 93 flood were higher, but the 27 flood was much larger and longer. And I think the majority of that reason is because we built up all these sides and we built up all these levees and so forth to try and contain the river. But Mother Nature,
She's not having it.
she doesn't contain well.
I know one
does
levee
what she
blew
wants.
out in Labadee, down by their power plant at Ameren.
Yeah.
My dad works down there,
Yeah.
and the power
Oh,
plant
really?
is currently an island. There is one road in.
Yeah. So
I was just on that road like 3 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I
on the
forget you go
motorcycle.
down there. So
Yeah.
if you go down, like actually the bottoms of the farmland,
Yeah.
that levee broke. That is a very large lake.
What about all those, like that downtown area of Labadee
Downtown
and-
was still dry when I was out
Was it?
there
good.
it's still a little higher.
Sunday.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a little higher, but
Yeah.
Yeah, none of
That's-
those farmers have planted crops or got even gonna touch their fields yet this year.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna be
probably
able
won't.
to.
Although
So
if you want to
why
go
are-
bow fishing, there's a bunch of gar out there.
Yeah.
So why are we talking about this?
What happens if I get
What
trapped?
happens when you get stuck? Being prepared.
It's Ron's favorite
So,
subject, guys.
Yes,
Just
he brought me in this morning and was like, hey, let's talk about, bug out bags, get home bags, survival bags, mini apocalypse, whatever you want to call your
The bag in your
3-day,
car
what
that
do
is
I do
important.
when I can't get to
Yep.
where I was planned
Your
on going.
JIC bag, just in case.
Yeah. So starts off with fun stuff. We got the old school Henry.
What are you gonna do with that? You gonna beat somebody to death with it?
Yeah, it floats.
I'm going to use it as a
It floats.
flotation device.
And so
You can use it as a
float.
flotation, well,
And then, you
Some
know,
people
when
could.
you need
To shoot a squirrel
to shoot squirrels and stuff,
or zombies.
you have all these cool little things. So it keeps two
It's slick, isn't it?
magazines in the back.
That is pretty slick, honestly.
Plus the magazine in the receiver. This one is empty. And it
Slap
just
it
goes
together real
nice
quick.
and quick and easy.
You can go out, shoot some squirrels, barbecue them up.
Shoot squirrels, shoot
Zombies.
Zombies?
you know, the 22 is the preferred weapon of the zombie apocalypse. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, because you
You
know
gotta
how
make a
many
headshot.
rounds that you can stick
You gotta
in your
make a
pocket.
headshot.
I mean, you can.
Plus, if you have to, I mean, if you're starting now to like start saving up, 22 is easy to save because it's cheap.
And it doesn't take up much room.
Exactly.
I mean,
It's light.
1,000
You can
rounds
carry a lot
is
of
like
rounds.
what, 8 pounds, 10 pounds, something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
You could carry 50
8
rounds.
mags,
Well,
4 mags, 5
Well,
mags.
those
of a
Remington,
large
500
caliber.
round Remington boxes, 2 of those wouldn't be 8 pounds.
See, if you
Right.
tossed
So-
one box of
Boom.
like 50
You're ready to go.
of 22, it would weigh less than most people's cell phones.
Oh, yeah. Look at
Especially
that.
them big old behemoths that they
Pew,
got out
pew.
nowadays.
Pew, pew.
You're ready
22,
to-
pew, pew.
Gotta go
Ready to
shoot some
rock and
squirrels
roll.
now.
That's cool.
It's way fun. And good sights. You know, you got that bright front orange hide viz and then a super simple circle in the back.
Just like her to bring a knife to a gunfight. Of course, she's sitting close enough. She's in better shape than
Go
you.
ahead, test
Right,
me.
yeah. And now she's cutting stuff.
Yeah, she's, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, watch out for that.
It's not as sharp as I want it to be.
So here's where my
Okay,
brain's at.
maybe I
because I remember Joplin several years ago.
Oh my gosh, I was a kid when that
Hundreds,
happened.
over 100 people killed, 150 people killed, 160 people.
Yeah, so far,
Terrible,
there's
terrible,
not a
terrible
whole
stuff.
lot of deaths in a lot of this stuff, the flooding and so forth, luckily so far.
Well, but the key,
But it's a possibility.
it happens. Stuff happens, and whether it's Mother Nature decides that it's happening, or men decide that it's happening, bad things are going to happen. And I believe, and I've been doing this for a long time. You know, I've raised my kids. They're out of the house, and that's kind of when I started thinking about this stuff. Was like, all right, all my kids are at school. If something happens, how do I get to them? How do I get them home from school? And so
You buy a house
that's
chopper.
why, yeah, that's why I think it's important for people to understand that you should have tools available to you all the time, so that you can. I mean, think about it. If an F4 tornado rolled through your neighborhood, you're not driving home.
No.
You're going to be walking, and that could be miles and miles and miles, right? You need to be prepared to deal with that kind of stuff. If you are driving home and your car slides off the road in an ice storm, it might be 5, 6, 12 hours before somebody comes and gets you.
When we got all
44
that-
was closed down
When we
for
got all
12.
that snow, it took me 8 hours to get home. I live 30 minutes
Yep.
from
Well,
work.
Interstate, 44 was closed for 12
44
hours. If
was
you were
shut down.
on the road, you stayed on the road that night.
100 was on
Right.
lockdown after like 6 p.m. or something.
This kind of stuff happens, and there are just basic things that you can do that's going to make life easier, that's going to allow you to get home. That's why every car that I've got that we own has a get home bag in it. Some, and they're all different, right? And I think people need to think about that stuff. And one of the things that the first thing you say is, well, what do I need to have in it? Well, my answer to that is another question. What are you going to need it to do, right? So I live 7.3 miles from work. I could grab a water bottle and walk home, right? I probably don't need a ton of stuff because I can get there fairly quickly. But
Generally speaking,
What if you
right,
break your ankle on the
how
way
far
there?
away do you live?
about 53, I think 52, 53 miles.
His kit's going to be different than mine,
Heck yeah.
right?
It's going to take me a minute to get home.
It's going to take you a little while. If you
Especially since I got multiple rivers to cross.
so
You gotta
got-
do some swimming.
So you got
That-
your spandex in there to get across that river, and so a
This
little.
man has always got his silkies on.
Ducky-
You don't
duckies-
need to worry about all that. You just
ducky
drop down
arm
the
floaties.
silkies and we're going.
But that's the kind of stuff that I think people need to start with thinking about. You spend
silkies.
where are you when you're not home?
I didn't know how many miles. I know how long it takes me to get home. I never looked how many miles it takes me to get home. I was looking.
27.
21.
You can't see Phil's
Phil
eyes
hates when I
right
check
now,
my phone
but
and
there's
or pay
actually
attention
like
to
a
comments.
laser beam like warming up in there, and he's ready to punch it through sand.
Yeah, it's starting to right here in my temple.
Grabbed her phone.
So if you leave the house, you should have something that will allow you to get back to your house.
Yeah,
Other
or
than just your
be
car.
able to. I mean, at the same time, let's be reasonable. 50-something miles. I'm not getting home that day.
Correct.
There's no chance for me without some sort of a 20th century mode of
What if you found a
transportation
horse?
or better. I have not seen a horse wandering the streets in Baldwin. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
I've been
Maybe I
seeing a
need to
pony.
look
I
around
don't
in the
know.
backyards and stuff, but I have not seen a pony.
You could go steal Phil's motorcycle.
But that's not here. And then
He
if
lives,
it
like,
were,
right down the road.
Phil would need it. What I'm saying is that
Yeah,
50 miles
if
is
you go into
not
Phil's
possible.
house to steal his stuff, it's
Is
not
as an
gonna happen.
individual on my own
I don't know if
feet.
you look like him.
That's
That's
a
a- that's-
long, long way.
So you need to start with a plan, and then you need to put together a toolkit that's going to let you execute the plan.
Yeah.
Real quick,
So-
Frank Byers says Eastern Missouri's biggest threat is earthquake. Only one road that will get you in or out of St. Louis City County without crossing a river is what?
Manchester.
It is. It is. Because it was my only way in when everything flooded
Yeah,
was coming up 100. You can't, because even if they don't technically cross river, they cross a floodplain. So like 109, 141, 44, all those low areas, all those side roads, good luck.
So, where do you spend the most time when you're not at home? Work,
Here.
school, the mall, the yogurt store, whatever it is. And then start to put your plan together on how you need to get home from there, and then build a kit around it. So for you, you're going to have a couple of stops, right? Ideally.
Yeah.
So-
and that's why in my kit, I've got the basics that I need for all the boo-boos and so forth, because I got kids, they get boo-boos, so I gotta have that stuff on me all the time.
Yep.
That's not even an
He
apocalypse.
shares an
thing or a
office with
problem.
me, so I mean,
It's right. You got kids that bang up their knuckles and they fall and scrape a knee. You need band-aids and so forth. So I got that kind of stuff. I've got, a big thing for me is an emergency blanket.
Yep.
An emergency blanket is something that you can use for cover. You can use for warmth. You can use for a lot of different options. Water gathering, rain gathering,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. I've got a shamog in there, help keep again that warmth, that
Yep.
dryness. Can be doubled up as a tourniquet and so forth. I've got tourniquets. I've got, basically, it is my bag. I've got with me all the time. Full first aid kit with all kinds of goodies in there.
Germex.
We got Germex on the outside,
That's actually-
which is great for a fire starter.
It's an important thing to have, period.
Yeah. We got flashlights. And I just figured out that my little guy
May
lost
the-
his arm.
Maybe it's in our
so
office.
I don't know where that went to. But
May the force be with you.
this is, yeah. And then you never know when things may happen. So in my bag at all times, I've
I
got
think that's smart.
a bulletproof panel. So even if I'm
your
out and
girls
about-
both have those too, don't they?
They do. They do in their packs. So in their backpacks for
Yeah.
school. I've got some other goodies. You got zip ties, little
Important.
hand towels, knife,
Kniffy.
wet wipes. You never know when you're going to need to use the facility.
If you don't have toilet paper and wet wipes in your bag, you're going to hate life.
See, I don't even care about toilet paper.
Oh.
Toilet paper can get wet. These, they are.
Yeah, I have.
Magic.
I mean, you can get cleaned a lot faster this way in a number of different avenues. You never know when you're going to run across
Moleskin. Oh, that's coffee
coffee
filter.
filters.
Yep.
How many times you've been at a hotel and
Just grab
you
a
got
couple.
you got nothing? I got coffee filters.
Great water filter. It's.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, it's
that-
going to get the big contaminants out of there.
Yes, it
You're
keeps
still
your
gonna need.
beans out of your brew.
Oh,
and-
you're going to make it. I'm thinking just as a water. I don't see coffee there. I see a water filter.
Chris and I only see coffee.
Oh, well, yeah, you can do that too. It filters your water.
It's not going to.
Chris and I live for
It's
the
not going to
coffee.
sanitize the water, but it'll get the chunkies out of it.
No, but coffee, you got to get it hot, so that way you sanitize at
Yeah.
the same
So
time.
you've got fire stuff in there to.
I do.
He's a smoker, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a smoker, so I always have
Midnight
fire on me.
Joker?
I don't even know where my
His backpack's very full.
somebody snatched my coffee out of here.
I'll also get you some more.
Yeah. So.
I'll give you some of that stuff I got from Black Rifle
You
right now.
You got to use that stuff. So I
but
do
food-
use this stuff and replace it, and
Yep.
you know, more like emergency blanket.
Yep.
Another
First aid
pouches,
stuff.
stuffs for.
For the record, I totally
gotta have a
stole
coolie.
this
Gotta have a-
from Chris. I put stuff in koozies now to store it. That is, he does this. I learned this from him. So I store my stuff in koozies, and then because your pockets in your backpack are always, like this big,
Yep.
and your
Yep.
stuff all falls over
Yep.
all the place. Koozies, man.
Boom, koozie.
Genius.
Yep. Right in
Such a
there.
dad move. It's a dad hack.
Yeah, I got gloves,
You throw
I
your
got-
zip ties, man.
ace bandages. I've got. Oh, you never know when you're gonna get bored.
Might need some cards.
I keep playing cards in mine too.
You never know.
That's a
They also
great idea.
work good for writing on stuff. I got my Phillips head. Because I got a pocket knife or a regular knife, that works great as a flat blade screwdriver.
In a pinch, that'll
Phillips
work,
head,
yep.
you got to have that. How many times you break down and needs stuffs. What else? Oh, because it gets cold. You got to have your toe warmers.
Those are a great idea. 'Cause
Absolutely.
you can throw those in a bag. You'd be surprised how much warmer your sleeping bag is.
The only thing I've ever been, the second thing that I got
Poncho?
stopped is a poncho.
Yep.
In the airport, they tend to ask you why you have one.
Because it rains.
Because it rains. That's why it has one.
So
There's another tourniquet.
you should. So what we're
We should do a
talking
backpack-
about.
We should do a backpack dump instead of a pocket dump.
So it's not rocket science, right?
rocket-
There's
yeah.
just some basics that you can have in there.
What do you need? What do
The
you have?
government, Homeland Security, even on their website says you should have a bug out bag and you should have a get home bag, and they have lists of items that you should have in them. But for me, I always want to focus on the laws of three. You guys, right? So you can survive for 30 seconds without, or 3 minutes without oxygen,
3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water,
3 hours without shelter,
3 showers without shelter.
3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. And that's how you prioritize what's going to go in that bag.
Yeah.
And so, just some basic stuff. So this is actually,
Yeah.
this has existed for me for a long time. It's just kind of my basics list. You need a good backpack because you're not going to want to be carrying it on a shoulder bag. You're going to want it to distribute the weight, give you some plenty of room, and be breathable, water resistant. Cash. There should be cash in your get-home bag.
Yeah, I'm not going to show you that.
There are some things I shall keep a
You
secret.
need to make sure that you have clothing that's going to get you home. If you work downtown in a law office or something and you're in a suit and tie or a dress all day,
Heels.
and heels or flip-flops, you're not going to walk 20 miles home. So make sure that you've got weather-appropriate clothing in the car. Gloves, hat, coat, rain gear, t-shirts. The Shemagh is a great idea because you can use it for so many different things.
Yeah.
I even think it's important if you don't spend a lot of time in the woods, you can get a little survival bushcraft manual. They're not very big, and stick it in there. It doesn't take up any
Yeah,
room.
and that gives you all kinds of little tips on how to start a fire without stuff.
How to use
Yeah.
a tarp for a shelter.
Skills are way, way better than
Oh,
just
yeah.
a book.
Absolutely.
You know, you got to practice that thing. People laugh because when
Especially
I
when you're
do
under
camping,
stress
I'm still
and- Yep.
camping, primitive camping stuff. But that's
Same.
what the kids like to do too. I mean, the kids like to play with fire. So if you teach them
Even the grown-up kids.
how to make fire at a young age, then when we're out camping, it's, you got your main fire pit and they get a second little small fire pit going next to them, and they can start that and work that and tend that. And
Good. That's a good idea.
they're allowed a fist-sized fire. So that's what, I mean, my kids are 10 and 14 now, but they're allowed a fist-sized fire. That way it's easy to cover up. You can just stomp it out, and it's right there. It's under the supervision, but they get to play with that and work on that so that in a situation where they need it, they've got a little bit of experience.
Also, kids that responsibly play with fire like that respect it and are way likely to accidentally burn something down.
Yes, very true.
Versus kids who are just like, oh, my mom and
Oh,
dad
they
wouldn't let
actually-
me do this. Burns the house down.
Yeah.
I've seen that
Kind of
happen.
goes along with guns and all that stuff too. Teach your kids, talk to your kids, but
Yeah.
let's get back on. Yeah.
Well, so staying with the law of threes, keep an N95 mask in your kit. That is a basic. They're not expensive. It basically it filters particulates out of the air.
Right.
So if you're in a situation, the one that comes to my mind is when the towers went down in New York. You saw people running around just covered in that dust.
Yep.
Couldn't breathe. You need something that's going to allow you to breathe. So you need some good, some respectable nose and mouth coverage so that you can breathe, and eye coverage is a good idea. I think having tools that are going to allow you to build shelter are important. You should have a tarp. You should have a multi-tool paracord.
Paracord.
Big deal.
We got a lot of paracord in there too.
A good bushcraft knife. I like to keep a pry bar because if I've got to cut through fences or backyards, I can use it to pop locks or pull boards or anything. And you can get those short little pry bars. They're not expensive. Good grief, look at this. Emergency blanket you did. It should have a compass. And you should have printed paper maps, waterproof them if you can, of your area and the places that you're going to have to traverse in order to get home. That way, if you have to alter course, you can at least get an idea of where you're going, because let's face it, if I'm going to walk from here to my house, I'm probably not going down Manchester, which I drive every day. There's going to be an alternate course that I'm going to take that will be shorter, or Manchester is not passable. That's why I'm walking. So you should have a map, fire starting materials, and you know, I see all these guys, you know, you got to know how to use flint and steel, and you got to know how to keep a flashlight, or a flashlight, keep those things are great.
I'm pretty.
A Bic lighter.
Get 2 or 3 of those. The hand sanitizer is a great fire starter.
A Bic lighter, and it's got to be a Bic. Don't chintz with some of the other stuff. Don't go with the crazy stuff. Go with a simple Bic lighter. Leave your little the little thingy on there. It helps keep crap out of your flint and steel. But this will work in almost every condition.
Absolutely does.
Wetness, you can struggle with it because it does. I mean, once the flint does get wet, it makes it a little more difficult. But sticking it inside of a pocket, and your body heat will dry it off enough that you will be able to get a spark.
Ziploc bag. Keep it in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, Ziploc bags are great for that.
I'll tell you, great fire starter. I mean, that's going to get, you know,
Guaranteed
you got to
fire.
have a lighter. I like to take cotton balls and put some just regular old Vaseline in them.
That's the idea of that sound.
It'll burn for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You get a light on that, it'll burn for 10 minutes. It's a great fire starter.
Soda cream.
You need a good flashlight or a headlamp, because you're not guaranteed that you're going to travel during the day. So make sure you've got batteries for that as well. Water. Metal water containers are best. Why?
Because when they get hot, they don't get all the chemicals in your water.
Yeah, durable,
Like
and you can reheat. You can heat the water.
You can sanitize water in it. So if you've got a metal container, you can sanitize that water.
However, a plastic bottle will work.
Leave it in the sun if you've got sunshine.
Well, I mean, even hung over a
Oh,
fire,
it will. You're right.
It will work. It will start to melt and it will stretch, and as long as
It'll
there's
teardrop,
water in
yeah.
there, it will not
You
generally
can't throw it straight
melt.
in the fire, but hang it over the fire.
But hang it over the fire will work. You can get a boil to it.
Yep.
It's kind of a one and done deal, but in a pinch it does
In a
work.
pinch, it'll work. Water purification tablets. If you don't have tablets, get just some regular chlorine bleach. It doesn't have. Stay away from like the floral scents and stuff. Just straight chlorine bleach. Get yourself a little eyedropper sized container, and two drops of that in a glass of water, and shake it up and let it sit for 10 minutes. Will pretty much kill everything that's in there. A good first aid kit is important. And when I say first aid, I really mean trauma. You need to be prepared to treat heavy mechanical wounds or heavy bleeding wounds. So tourniquets, Israeli bandages, gauze, quick clot. All of those things are important to have in your kit. An emergency radio with batteries. I've got an old Walkman in my kit with the headphones. I want the headphones so that if something's going on, I want to be able to listen to the radio without advertising where I'm at, right? So I've got just these cheap old Walkman. It's probably 20 years old, still works with batteries in it. If nothing else, I can scan radio stations and see if I can get an update. This bridge is down, that bridge is down, there's a fire here. We're set up an aid station there.
And for those that don't have the thing that they had when they were way young and it hasn't deteriorated already.
Ron wasn't way young at 20 years ago.
Like he's exaggerating because ain't nobody had a Walkman in the past 20 years. Have you ever heard of a Walkman?
I don't even know what a Walkman is, and I'm
She's in her 20s.
I'm literally Googling
It
it.
wasn't 20 years, buddy. It was a lot longer ago than that.
Whatever, it still
Oh, a
works.
CD player?
But having an emergency
Before a CD
radio
player.
is important so that you can see what's going on.
Walkmans
Have a
are
phone charger.
That's
and
digital.
way too new.
Yeah, that's way too new.
Way too
I'm
new.
working on it.
Have a phone charger. I'll get it out here in a little while and you can laugh at it.
Oh, I
Have
can't
a phone charger and a battery.
that.
There you go. Well, that's what we're talking about there. Those are the Walkmans.
So these are those the CD players? Because you need to go back and look at the ones that were cassette.
No, this
No,
is
that's
a
a
cassette.
cassette.
That's
Okay.
a cassette. There's another
That's-
cassette. I mean, we're looking at.
Oh yeah,
They're
That
still
is-
there.
that was the bomb.
Wow.
Yeah, those were the
Yeah.
bomb.
Yikes. His Walkman's older than me.
Yeah.
So watch Terminator, the first one. That
mid-nineties.
guy listens to a Walkman all the time. Anyway, but comms are important. So keep.
They do have
I
the
think-
little emergency radios now that you have the
Yep.
hand crank. Those are actually
That will
a better
charge it.
option than
Yep.
the battery powered ones because you really don't need anything. Just wind it. And then
And they're not
good.
expensive.
And they're just radio.
Yep.
And
Well, they have
the handheld
flashlights on
ones,
them,
A lot of them have flashlights incorporated into them. They all have the auto channels, so you have
Yep.
your NOAA channel,
Yep.
and you can instantly go to that, which is going to be theoretically your best place to get the updated information, even when the majority of things have failed to work anymore.
Also, and I think a lot of people do this already in their backpacks or purses or whatever that they carry, but have an extra battery and cables to charge your mobile phone with.
Yeah.
Always have that on hand. Again, coming down to being able to communicate. You need rescue items in there as well. I always have a mirror, one of those little rescue mirrors. I have a whistle. I've got glow sticks. If it's dark, I can lay glow sticks out so that people can see where I'm at. And I keep flares in the car if I need them. So you always need some sort of a signal item in case you need help. Those
Fancy
things are
glow
great.
stick.
Yeah.
Phil found this at an NRA show. Awesome. It's a UV glow stick. Literally just charges with a regular flashlight.
It's the ones I turned off on you guys on like last week or 2 weeks ago.
That's stupid.
And they literally hold a charge. Dustin actually used it at the NOC event over the weekend. Said that he charged it up, and for the 6 hours they were outside, it still glowed real bright. So it.
We talked about hygiene kit. TP is important. Wet wipes or hand sanitizer, soap, a little hand towel. And then finally we get down to kind of for me, they're not the ultra important items, it's just food. But for food, get some power bars. Don't get chocolate ones because they'll melt all over the place in your bag over the summer.
Or simple granola bars.
Yeah, just the
rotate
like
them out, man.
Cliff
Like,
bars.
Eat them. Use
Beef
them, and then
jerky,
just replace
trail
them.
Beef
mix,
jerky's a
the
good
fruit
idea.
jerky.
Yep. Anything with good carb load in it that can get you rocking and rolling. And then finally, what you're comfortable with from a self-defense standpoint. My wife doesn't keep a firearm in the car. She's not comfortable with that. We always have firearms on our persons, so that's always going to be part of our kit, whether it's in a bag or not. But you need to make that decision. But self-defense items are going to be important because there's not going to be anybody to call in worst case scenario. So pepper gels, Kubatons, a good knife, even extended weapons like a retractable baton. A walking stick can be absolutely, those are retractable, you can keep them in the car. Have a lot of multiple, you can walk, I really like walking sticks for get home bag application because you can make shelter out of them.
Beat old people with them.
You can beat people with them. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do with them.
I'm of the opinion of you walk and find a stick.
Pick it up,
Get a walking
there you go. And I'm good with that too.
I
Yeah.
don't want to carry a bunch of extra stuff that
I'm
I don't
imagining Chris whittling
So-
away his own walking stick on the side of Manchester Road right
need. I
now.
have done that not on the side of Manchester.
So,
I have
anyway.
a few walking sticks on my
Yeah.
car.
And
A
this,
couple of people mentioned some stuff. Brian Tackenberg had mentioned the map that you brought up. He said there
Yep.
are 3 routes out for your
Yep.
vehicle,
you should have, that's exactly right. You should have 3 routes. And who said that, Brian?
Brian.
Brian
Yeah,
Tackenberg.
yeah, he's absolutely right. And you should drive those a couple of times a year so that you're familiar with them. You can, you can get landmarks and, because you're not, think about it, tornado comes through, landmarks are going to change, street signs are going to be gone. Are you still going to be able to navigate it? So,
He's also
Good
got
point.
a phone card and a Visa card in his get home bag also.
that's a good idea. Yep.
And then one other guy had mentioned Zippo Bic matches. He also said that Larry Chapman had said they make cheap waterproof cases for Bics.
Yep.
Yep.
And Frank Byer said glasses, wear glasses, spare glasses.
Yes.
Yep.
That's a great, that's, yes.
Contact
Another good one,
solution.
on the Bic
This
lighter
dude
thing.
always has eye drops. He
Yeah.
forgot that. That's huge.
That's, yeah, chapstick.
Well, that's not even all those things. Like even my little pull tab is made out of fire cord.
Sweet.
You
So the
fancy.
inside of that is actually a
And
little
here's your
fire tender.
paracord.
And so I got one of the little survival things.
So where's your get home bag?
I got all kinds
So
of
my
goodies
get home
in there
bag
as
is
well.
multiple bags for a couple of reasons. So I have my bag I carry every day. It's my backpack that has first aid kit. It has extra charging stuff for my phone as far as chargers and battery packs. It has extra mags. It has granola bars. It has protein bars. It has stuff for water. There's usually a water bottle in it. But then obviously it has like my work stuff too, my laptop, my notebook, stuff that can be removed. Chapstick, all that stuff, my wet wipes, all that stuff's in there. And then in my Jeep, I have, where's my stuff? I keep a med kit, which has got a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm not gonna open it up, because if I do, it will explode and I will not fit it all back in there.
Why are you laughing, Phil?
Brian, Sam says she has multiple bags in her car. Brian Beckford says, headline, woman has multiple bags.
Headline, women's always have
Good on you,
snacks,
Brian.
men are always hungry.
That's awesome.
Not sharing with you. But then, as we all know, or if you don't know, I have a 2-year-old German Shepherd who, if I'm not here, is attached at my hip. So, knowing my dog's always with me, that's a priority. So, I have, in my Jeep, I have, the tarp, the crowbar, all the stuff my dad told me to keep, obviously. I have a bowl for Trooper, and then I have Trooper's bag, which consists of not just like toys and stuff. I have dehydrated food for Trooper, because if I have to eat, my dog has to eat. I have a muzzle, because in those
I thought
environments...
that said if you have to eat your dog.
No, I'm not
I
eating
didn't
my
catch the
dog.
rest of that.
No, I have a muzzle, because obviously if it's a high stress situation...
Muzzles for the dog.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
You know,
I hate
if we
you
had
all.
any
The
options
dad,
in
the
there,
dad
it'd be
jokes are
different.
just falling off the table. This.
Anywho, I have a very high drive, relatively reactive dog, so knowing that if we were in a stressful environment, that could be hard on him. He's muzzle trained, and there is a muzzle. I have not only I have 3 different size leads. I have like a 10 or a 12 foot, a normal one, and then I have literally like an 18-inch lead, so he is right on me. I have a water bowl in here. I have a towel in here for him. I have a towel in here for me. There's spare clothes in my Jeep. Yeah, it's divided into place because obviously I don't want my snacks, my mags, all that stuff, hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold. That's how Missouri is. So the things that can stay in my Jeep without
Affecting them.
it being like integrity affecting, stay in my Jeep. And the stuff that can't goes in my day-to-day backpack, and I carry one of the proper like UC bags that I have a whole bunch of extra stuff.
You're bringing up a
connected
really
to.
good point. You applied it to your dog, but moms
You have
and dads
kids.
with kids, it's the same. It's exactly
Yeah.
the same thing. Do you have diapers? Do you have some formula? Do you have?
Tourniquet to fit my dog, tourniquet
Yep.
to fit your kid.
Yep.
Also, I learned this
Really good points.
when I was a kid. We did a lot of hike-in camping. So you'd hike halfway in, you'd camp in the middle of the woods, and then you'd hike back out. And I learned rule of thumb, you don't take anything or have anything you can't carry back out. If your kid gets hurt, they're not walking back out. If my dog gets hurt, that's 70 pounds
You're going to carry.
that I have to carry.
Yeah.
So something that I'm really big on is physically being able to do those things. Because if I don't do my cardio or, do a mile every day, well, how am I going to expect to get my 20-something miles home? So
Yep.
my dog gets carried places. I actively, yes, we go for runs most days, or we go for at least walks and stuff, but I also spend a lot of time making sure my dog can, A, I can still carry him, and B, he's not going to try to do a backflip when I
If
try
you're
to carry
carrying
him.
him, yeah.
Because that's huge, especially when my dog is half my size.
Yeah, good point.
That's one thing Brian just brought up. He said, good question for y'all. When was the last time you actually tried walking a longer than usual distance with your pack?
So
Oh my God, SHOT Show. We walked.
SHOT Show was
God,
awful.
awful.
Monday. So
I actually made a point.
I do that. I try to do at least 3 miles, 4 or 5 times a month with my pack.
I
You
make a
live 7
point.
miles from here, though. I think what Brian's saying is, when was the last time that you walked?
7
Yeah.
miles. Yeah, probably.
Probably shot you.
Long. Yes, Josh.
You walk home today and I'll
We'll follow.
I'm not walking home today. It's 110 degrees. Let's do it when it's
It's not
50 out.
110 degrees.
Let's do it when it's 50. But he makes a good point. You got to be able to put that pack on.
So
and
that's
carry it.
something so I've gotten really big into hunting ever, like Chris has watched this hands-on. The past, 90 days turkey season, I have been on it, dude. And all of a sudden I realized, walking in these woods with all this stuff gets rough, man. This is not flat. So I added in, I forced myself to about a month ago, every day, even if it's only 20 minutes, either do you have to do a minimum of 20 minutes or a mile, and it's not flat, it's not on a track. I go to a park, I go to a river access, I'm gonna run. Me and Trooper are gonna run, and then when we're done with that, I'm gonna walk around with Trooper either in my arms or on my shoulders. We're gonna get it in, because whether it's hunting or it's getting home, if I don't teach my body, these are the things you have to do. When I go to do, my body's gonna be like, okay, you're gonna die from a heart attack. Maybe you shouldn't have had so many carbs. You should have thought this through. So,
Or a lighter pack.
smaller dog.
Depend on what you need in that pack. So that's the other thing that I think Brian's trying to kind of point out is you got to practice with this stuff. You got to go.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how good that pack is if you physically can't get home.
There's all kinds of places that go on some great hikes.
Oh, Missouri's awesome.
I mean, they have totally paved hiking trails, some gravel, some dirt, some less than that. So those are just good, even if you're going to the paved ones, because like you're pointing out, elevation changes, you're walking uphill, downhill, you're walking on side hills. It's beautiful scenery, and then bring your bag, bring your pack, load it up. Throw extra water in there, because obviously you're going to need it when you're doing any kind of a hike or walk like that. Throw some extra water in there. Also helps build up that stamina so that you
Carrying
can carry
water-
that
carrying water
pack
is
with
hard.
extra stuff. So yeah, when
Carrying
you got
a lot of water is tough.
2 kids and a wife and 2 of their friends, and it turns out to be quite a bit of added weight into your pack. And it is kind of nice to know that at the end of it, if I had to do it, I would be able to. I'd have a sore back, but I would be able to do it.
Right.
So adding that minimum, literally every day, and some days it's easy. You go to, and you just, it's somewhere flat and paved, and then other days you're like, I'm gonna go to Castlewood, and that stupid mountain. Okay, that's it.
I love that
I
mountain.
hate that mountain. I hate that mountain a lot when I'm running up with a 70-pound dog.
Do you ride your bike up that?
So yeah, but even just doing that for a month,
Do you carry
can
your
tell the
bike down the
difference.
stairs on the backside?
can't go downstairs, you gotta go a different way.
Oh, there is another route for the bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to the right, when it splits off, you go to the right.
You go to the right, and you kind of go up and then down and
Yeah.
around.
Back down, switch backs, it's fun downhill.
Yeah.
It's not fun when you accidentally get lost back there because it says do not enter, and you do, and you end up back in a trailer park back there. Not saying from
That's not a
experience.
trailer park, that's meth.
You're right. At one point, it might have been a trailer park,
Just
but
because they call it a kitchen doesn't mean it really is.
I got lost there and did 9 miles one day and went, I'm not sure I should be here. There are more teeth in my mouth than this entire neighborhood has. That's scary.
All right. Have we made our point?
Yes, get your stuff.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Anybody
Guess
else
so,
have any
test it out.
questions? Be mentally prepared to have to deal with this stuff. When you start thinking through it, and don't think you got to go out and spend $1,000 and build
Don't
this
go to REI.
high-end kit. Just start. Have you got a decent backpack? Put a water bottle in it. Put some toilet paper in it.
Wet wipes.
Granola bars.
And you
Toilet
know
paper
what?
gets
Now
wet,
now you've got to
it's
start,
worthless.
right? And you can just build on it and build on it and build on it. So.
Brian brings up another good point. He said actually applying your gear in control scenarios, so you don't stress yourself, but you get to learn your gear.
That was a big thing my parents, when
Yeah.
we started hiking, in case for some reason my brother and I have a brother that's 2 years younger, ended up separated from the parents, whatever. Can you use a compass? Can you read a map? Can you start your own fire? That kind of stuff. It's the kind of stuff that, in reality, most kids don't learn these days because they have an iPhone, and who needs that? Because I have maps. It seriously
Yes,
blows
yeah.
people's mind when I say I'm 24 and I can read a map confidently.
Yeah, because they've got an app for that now. They
Exactly.
don't have to read a map. That's another thing. Invariably, we take Boy Scouts out their first camp out. All right, go start a fire. And the first thing they do is get a big pile of leaves and they'll put a lighter on it. That never starts. You can't start a fire with a
not.
pile of leaves.
Also,
You get a little bit of a fire for a moment.
You'll get like some little coaly
Sometimes you
smokies.
get a lot of smoke.
Yeah.
if you had to have, if everything in your backpack could be relatively, let's just say cheap and budget friendly, if you had to have the one item you spend for that one quality item, what is it? You
Alright,
have your
so
entire backpack.
I got
you
my
can,
kit,
You can
and-
only spend
and
a
I'm
lot
gonna-
of money on one object. What is that one
Okay,
object that
so
is most
one-
important to be
one
quality?
premium.
Everything
amongst
else.
Everything else.
Yeah. Everything else mediocre.
It's probably, I think it's gonna be my bushcraft knife. I'm gonna want a heavy-duty tool that I can do heavy-duty stuff with. I can build shelter, I can build fire.
It'd be tough for me, I'm always thinking my pack.
It was either gonna be my,
So I want something.
Heavy knife.
To weigh well.
yep,
carry
our
gear.
quality pack, yep.
Yeah.
Now, see, and I'm looking at it like, no, I don't think I need a fancy knife, and I don't think I need a fancy pack, because ultimately, if this is like end all, like, if my shoulders are sore, my shoulders are sore. My feet are going to be sore from walking 50-something miles.
Boots might be.
First aid would be probably where
aid?
I'd end up spending more money.
Yeah.
Honestly, on everything I've got, other than the armor insert that I've got, because that was more expensive, but that
Yeah.
was more of a day-to-day need mindset thing. I think my first aid kit is probably the most expensive piece of gear I do have on there, especially when
That's a
you
good
add
answer.
in the extras. I mean, I've got extra tourniquet in there, I've got a couple of tampons in there, I've got a couple of those other things in there that were added into my original
Supplemental.
$60
Yeah.
kit or $40 kit. So, I mean, that's probably what I actually did spend the most money on, was my first aid, and with having
Well, that's a really good
kids,
question.
that's something I think.
Because now I'm thinking through it, I'm thinking, maybe my boots are what I would want to spend the most money on.
Water filter.
You can get a great
Your water
water filter.
filter.
Saw your water filter. For
I think that would have to
$20.
be mine.
You can
See,
get a high-end one though for a few dollars, right? I mean, it's not.
I mean, yeah, that's something that, like,
$40.
my parents, like, I mean, obviously, like, I did it on, like, a not, you have to save your life level, but, like, hiking, like, that would have to be,
Having
like,
good
my
water
number
that doesn't
one.
make you sick is important.
Having good water, and I mean, and you can't, like, just drink it out of puddles, obviously, it's gonna make yourself sick, and sure, you can put bleach in it, yeah. That's gross. I think I'd rather have the money and have
It's pretty
I mean, a
terrible.
pack is, yeah, you're gonna want that, and, like, good boots, yeah, but I think you're not gonna last long without water.
So here's the plan.
And the
then.
shit that goes
If
into water
something-
these days,
The what that goes into
the
water?
shit, I mean, think about all the,
We're live.
I'm sorry.
The poo.
The gross chemicals in your water. If you were to just drink water
No,
that
no,
was
you're
run
right.
off from
There's
Manchester,
literally
you
shit in
don't
the
want
water.
that. I mean, just think about all the chemicals we use on
I have a
everything.
solution. I have a solution. You're going to get a really nice pack. You'll get a good med kit. You'll get a good water filter. I'll make sure I've got a good knife, and we'll just go together.
Okay, are we going to Phil's house? I think
We'll
it's
all go to
Phil's.
Phil's house.
Maybe the most important thing is
Phil's got to live like within like 4 miles
a
of here.
good firearm, so that it doesn't matter what pack I started with. I get Phil's. I get your knife.
Yep.
I get your water.
You're right.
Yep. Well,
that's
you
the best
forget
option there.
that is probably the most important part of my kit, but it's something that I can carry every day. It's not just for my kit.
Yeah. So as far as that goes, I think
So
having
you're
that
saying
water.
training
Training.
would be the. Yeah,
I can actually
that's
see
a
those
great.
sites.
Like that's a tough. Like that's really kind of hard to really.
Give us your thoughts.
Because once you start thinking, you
What is the
start thinking
what is the
and
one thing
justifying other things.
what is the one thing in your get home bag that you would splurge on above any other? And let's see what people have to
I'm
say.
curious.
Yeah.
I don't know what Jeff's is. If he says hammock, I'm gonna fight him.
Mine might be
No.
bourbon.
My long-term.
If I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go.
Hammocks in it.
My Jeep has 2 hammocks in it, both 2-man hammocks that I spent a lot of money on.
Yeah.
Hey, we've done this for an hour.
All right.
We actually
Tell
have
us
to go to
what
work.
your one splurge item would be for your get home, whatever you want to call it,
Get home bag.
your get home bag, whatever.
Just in case bag.
Yeah, your just in case bag.
Your emergency something.
Your I can't make it home right now bag. I don't know whatever you want to call
Get
it.
me home.
Your
Let
thing.
me go home.
It's a get home bag. It's a get home bag. We don't have to reinvent it. Get home bag.
Yeah.
All right.
We should host like a get home hike around Castle or something.
That would be
Are you
awesome.
gonna lead it?
You all just, everybody
Brings their get home bag and
Yeah.
Go to Greensfelder and do a 5-mile hike around Greensfelder.
that'd be awesome.
You can do 14 miles straight through Greensfelder.
I always forget Greensfelder. You can hike there.
Greensfelder is
And there's
a challenge because it's
Greensfelder's fun when you're on a horse.
Yeah.
I forget people
you
actually
know
hike
we
that
could
'cause I
do
always
it
rode
on
there.
the old Zombie Road Trail.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
2.5 miles to the river and then 2.5 miles back up. 5 miles. It's paved, but we'll look into that. That's a great
Good
idea.
idea.
Just meet us here at this date, bring your package.
Bring your get home bag.
Yeah.
We're gonna see. Yeah, and we're just gonna. Yeah, it's not a race, right? It's just a. We need to do it somewhere. See, now I'm peeling the onion. We need to do it somewhere where we've got to stop and like got a fire belting station, and then you
would
got
be
a water
super fun.
purification station, and then you got to build a shelter station,
I think we call those
and
weekend
then you got to
retreats.
stop, play cards, and have a drink station.
I like that station. Is that the last station?
That's where everybody will be.
Station.
Because after that station, I feel like none of us are going far.
So that's gonna be back to dark.
I know here, and I know what the four of us like to drink.
I like
Yeah,
that.
I do too.
Put something together for this fall.
The last station's
When
at
it's not
Phil's
hot?
house because Cindy makes cookies.
I like that.
We could have a marshmallow roasting station.
This is an important life skill.
You have to, a s'mores station, but you've got to build your own fire for the s'mores.
Brian says GoRuck does a similar event where it involves land nav through urban terrain too.
That is true.
That's
That is
cool.
true. I
That
have
is,
seen
yeah.
that. There's a lot of cool stuff that's going
Yep.
on now, and a lot of different groups that are doing that. I know Michael Hawk years ago was over at Tactical Shit and had come in, and that's one of the things that he was big on is that survival bug out bag and so forth. And I know he does different experiences like that.
That'd be cool.
So that'd be
cool.
kind of
I like it.
fun. Let's
I like
put
it.
that on the calendar of
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
things to try and figure out. How
Who's
to
in
do.
charge of marketing around here and putting events together?
So, where were we at?
We're done.
We were talking
Come
about
see us at the range. We got spots and
Yeah.
classes this weekend. Anti-carjacking, basic hand-to-hand fundamentals, basic handgun. We got the Spartan 300. Watch for our team out there. They're going to kick butt. They're going to look good. Next week on Saturday, make sure that you're ready to get signed up for
IDPA?
IDPA by 9 o'clock Saturday morning. We're going to run that on Thursday. And as always, you got a question about whether or not you're ready, come see us. Firearms,
Phil.
alternative tools, training, and we got cool stuff to play with too. So
Yeah.
come see
Well,
us at the
play
range.
stuff.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
I'm ready.
Hey, Wednesday, ladies, come in and shoot for free.
What he said.
Ooh, last
How about
one.
that? Yeah. Well, no, we're gonna keep going. Come on
Surprise, Ron.
In. Come on in, ladies. Wednesdays, we're gonna keep rocking it.
decision.
By the way, college students, bring your college ID starting
This is
in
the
June.
song that
Monday.
never ends.
We're gonna do half price lanes for you guys. So
College and Dad, happy Father's Day. You
Dad,
can get
happy
Dad a
Father's Day.
membership. 90 days for $50.
yes, we know you love him. He needs
All
some
right, now we're ready.
Now we're ready.
Bye.
See ya.